Hi, everybody. We had a live Q&A last week, and a ton of people wrote in and said, "Hey, we can't make it to the live Q&A," but they had questions. So we're here to give you quick answers to their questions. Hi,
Awesome.
Dana.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for sending your questions in. So today I've kind of grouped these questions for you on kind of online showing. So it's becoming more and more popular. I love online showing. Sometimes there's just not shows in your area. It's a really far drive, but I still want to show and get the comments back and keep improving and practicing. So this is a wonderful platform. So if I want to go to an online show or participate in an online show, how do I make a first good impression?
Well, I think people that know me know that I think your entry, your center line, and your salute is really important. And you can practice that quite a lot of times and get really straight. And we've put out a lot of videos on how to make really good straight center lines. So a lot of information there. Look on our YouTube channel. But a good salute too. Pay attention to your salute. If you can, salute with your right hand. Make a good square halt. Stand there. Look at the camera. I am behind it. I swear. The judge is there. Look at them and salute. Get your hand well off the horse. People are like, well, what does a salute matter? But it shows respect. It shows deportment. It's like sitting up straight. When you do a good one, people are like, wow, you get my attention. You get the judge's attention right away.
Mhm.
The other thing that I think is to have kind of you don't have to have fancy outfits, but you can tell if someone's, brushed their horse up really good. You don't always need a bath. It's not a big thing. It isn't a show like a live show, but making your horse neat and tidy, having a neat and tidy outfit. Be sure that you have on the clothing that you're required to have on, which is like a shirt with a collar. Long sleeve shirts are usually required unless it's really hot. You've got your helmet or your Western hat. You just want to look, you want to look put together. T-shirts are out, don't forget, those are illegal. So make your first impression by a good straight entry, a square halt, a really respectful salute. Remember, your palm does not go forward towards the judge. The palm goes back towards the flank of the horse. Like don't look for a handout. So we have great videos on how to do correct salutes. So look them up because it's a very simple thing to make a good impression.
Yep.
And it's your first opportunity.
Yeah, I didn't realize like my salute, I think it used to just be quick and like, oh my gosh, like, ooh, like get on with the test and then you talk to me about it. And I think one of the best things, because my salute is always kind of like quick, quick, and you're like, salute like you're saluting the Queen of England, like very elegantly. And like once you said that to me, I was like, okay, I get it. So
Yes,
that
you
helped a
want to
lot.
actually take a breath and hesitate because
Uh,
we're expecting the horse to stand 4 seconds. Don't forget, it's
Okay.
really important that you get the horse settled. He needs to be halted before you salute. There's a deduction if you're saluting and you don't have him immobile yet. And if you never get him immobile and you salute and take off, that's a huge deduction. So you
Mhm.
want to stop, get square, then salute, pick up your reins, move off. It takes about, to do a decent salute, it takes at least 5 seconds.
Okay,
And you
perfect. So
can,
you don't
you
have to
need to,
rush.
no,
Not at
and,
all. Yeah.
making it look elegant and giving the chance for the judge to breathe and just look at you for a second is so cool. Yeah. So, yeah, start with a really good center line and salute, take your time, and try to think about that there's really a person there
Perfect.
behind the
I
camera.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you told me like you like it when someone comes down and you can see that they're smiling or. So
Yeah.
I think about those things now when I'm like going down center line. Like I know it's just a camera, but at the end of the day, there will be a judge behind that camera
Yes.
watching
Yes.
me. The next question I have is besides concentrating on my performance, what else do you need to think about?
Well, um, it's really kind of hard to say this, but I think it's really important because people call me all the time and they want to know why they're not doing better. And almost 90% of the time, the very, very first thing I say to them is, do you realize I'm having trouble seeing your test
Okay.
online? It's the photography. And they're like, well, I called you for a writing lesson. And I'm like, well, judges aren't allowed to judge anything very high above 6 or 6.5 if they cannot see the details of what you're doing. And most of the platforms do not clearly say that Zoom is really necessary, but I'm telling you, as a judge, it's necessary. So if we look at this box that you're looking at for me now, and you see how wide this is, then what you see is that if you're going forward with a horse through the view camera, if you have a person running your camera and they're panning you, they want to be panning, following you. They stand right at C and behind C, but they turn the camera to follow you. Then the horse needs to be in the last third over here of the view screen if the horse is going the other way. I'm backwards, so I'm going like that. If the horse is going that way, then keep the horse in the last third of the view screen, and you have two parts of the view screen ahead of the horse, and that shows the judge, it shows them depth perception and it shows them where you're traveling to and if you are getting to the letters that you're supposed to get to. Meanwhile, you don't want them to look like a mouse on the screen. So a horse and a rider want to take up about, I don't know, a fifth of the screen, a fourth or a fifth of the screen, because we're looking at tiny little horses at the end of the ring running around that are no bigger than mice. And I'm using a huge computer screen and I still can't see. You have no idea how exhausting it is. And we are not allowed to guess. So if I can't see your reins, I can't see where your hands are. I'm lucky if I can just barely tell that the horse threw its head up or maybe it didn't, but I absolutely cannot give 7, 5, 8, 9, or 10 if I cannot see it. And mostly when I'm really unclear, you just get sixed to death. 6, 6, 6, 6,
Got
oh,
it.
6, 5, 6, oh, because I don't, it looks like I guess it's okay, it's satisfactory, but I really can't tell.
So I guess when you're looking at it, then you do not have to have the whole arena in the view at all times. Is that correct? Like, because you can zoom in and even though you're going, let's say like down a diagonal, you don't have to have both of those letters at all times in the screen view.
No, and if you do, you don't have anywhere near enough zoom. And if
Okay.
you think about it live, when I'm looking at you, like I actually focus on you and watch you go down the ring, and I no longer see the corner of the ring. I'm not looking at the corner, I'm past it, I'm looking up there. And
Mhm.
so the camera should pan with you. The person has to stand right directly behind C or a few feet back from C. And then we tell them if they're filming, if they stand up a little bit, like on a 3-step mounting block, it really helps them because then they have a judge's view. Because if I was on a judge's stand, I'm about to 18 inches up. And
Okay.
they stand, sometimes they sit on the tailgate of the truck, or sometimes they stand on a mounting block, but they stand up there and they pan with you, which is great. And they zoom in and out. And, when a horse comes really close to the end of the ring, then they have to completely get down to zero zoom when the horse is right down here. But by the time you get to B or E, I've got to have some zoom. And if you're in the 200-foot ring, if you're in the large ring, I need it. I need a lot of it, and I need it
Mhm.
sooner. Most people are also not using enough zoom, and they don't zoom fast enough. And the ride's all done, the exercise is all done before they zoom up on it. And I'm like, I need to see it, folks. And I talked to a girl the other day and she's like, well, I'm not a judge. I said, did you look at your tape? And she said, I'm not a judge. And I'm like, you don't need to be a judge to see that you really couldn't see what your hands were doing. You can't see the reins. Don't forget that black horses disappear into the forest if you
Mhm.
have trees behind you, things like that. Also, I have a very dark horse, and we've noticed photographing her that when there's bright sunlight on her, the reins disappear. You
Yep.
can't see her head from her neck, things
Yeah, I
like
can't
that.
shoot in
So
the morning because of the sun. The sun is so bright you can't actually see what I'm doing. I more look like a shadow. So yeah, no shooting that direction when
Yes.
it's in the morning.
Yes,
Mhm,
perfect. Think about changing the ends of your ring, changing your letters around, what time of day you're going to photograph.
mhm,
Practice. If you don't know if you have good photography, you can take a little tape, take a short tape. It only needs to be like 4 or 5 movements, and send it to somebody and say, "Hey, if you were judging this, is this enough zoom? Could you see? What do you think? What's the quality?"
absolutely.
The other thing which people don't think about is most of us are using our phones.
Mhm,
Our phones are all full of crap. We have so many photographs and our favorite music, and we got our books on there and this and that. So you have so little capacity for videoing because you don't have much memory.
mhm,
You need to go into your settings and you need to put your camera onto the absolute highest setting um, for the quality of the filming, but that is going to take up memory like there is no tomorrow. So before you start filming, be sure that you have enough memory to do this and clean your camera out, get it onto one of those little sticks or onto your computer or whatever so that you have plenty of capacity. Because despite that you may have zoomed or whatever, if you are on the worst pixelations because you were trying to save space,
mhm.
that's also a problem because the whole thing looks blurry and fuzzy.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun fact, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you have unlimited photo downloads to Amazon Photos and then a certain amount of videos. So I definitely utilize that. And I think you can pay an additional like 199 or 299 for extra storage through them. So that's a good way to do it because it is never fun when you're recording and you're halfway through your test and the person filming says, "You ran out of storage." And you're just like, "No." Like, I can't believe
Oh,
that
no,
just
you're right in the middle
happened.
of the test. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
yeah, and it's probably your best ride, right?
yes,
So,
your best ride, of course, always your best ride when these things happen and you just ran out of storage. So, yes, so fun fact about being an Amazon Prime member, utilize that. The next question I have and the other thing I wanted to say is that, my fiancé Brendan always records my videos. He's gotten very, very good at it. But he used to just hold the phone up, when we first started. I think about $30 on Amazon. You can buy a tripod that has a little handle and it will help like rotate the phone. And he said that that is like life changing. So definitely, if you're going to do a lot of online showing, get one of those. And it really makes it so that it's easy for him to pan and follow me, but also utilize the zoom as well.
that's true, because otherwise you get pretty tired, and I
Yep.
used to have to rest my elbows on the fence to get
Hmm.
myself steady, because you get tired after a while and you're not steady. So, yes, that is awesome to get a tripod. Once
Yeah.
in a while, they make funny noises and go click, 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 but judges know what that is. They just ignore it. We know that's the tripod clicking,
Mhm.
and it's great. So that's a very good thing to do. Good reminder.
Yep. Here's another good question. If I don't have a sand ring, can I ride on grass?
Oh, a lot of people ride on grass. The only thing the only thing that's important though is I did see somebody this week that I don't know what happened, but their grass was like it was
Really
long.
long.
Oh my gosh, and it was dry. It must have been a really dry climate too. So I really had that was the only time I've ever had trouble judging somebody on grass. So if you go out and mow it like your lawn, that's perfect. It's no
Mhm,
problem. And you can, put out road cones, give me a few poles at the end and for corners. I mean, put down some poles for corners and, get some road cones up there, get your letters really noticeable. I need to see that.
mhm.
One lady I know is really clever that the center line she wrote mows it shorter. You can see the
I like
center
that.
line because she mows it shorter. I'm like, not illegal. She does it. It looks
Yeah.
great. I like it actually. It helps me judging. You
Uh-huh.
can tell if she wanders out of it for sure. Um, but these folks didn't do it. And like the free walk, I couldn't see the tracking. They got way down at the end of the ring. The grass was pretty high. And I was like, I'm having trouble seeing what's happening down here.
Mhm.
So mow the grass. That's about the only thing.
Yep. Awesome. And then last question I have is, do judges care if you have a reader?
Not really, but well, I hope nobody's gonna be mad at me, but some readers are so annoying. Luckily, online, we can turn them down, but in live shows, you can't, and, I taught my husband how I wanted him to read, and I told him that he needed to sound pleasant. It had to be loud, and he had to project his voice, but people that get out there and just scream and bellow are really annoying, and if it's online, we turn you guys down, but then is the problem of we're supposed to be listening for natural sounds because we are supposed to be listening if anyone's helping you or unauthorized assistance or something like that. And so, no, we don't care if you have a reader, but spend some time teaching them because
Mhm.
it's also the problem of you can have a reader and if you still go incorrectly the wrong way or whatever, then you get an error for that. If they talk to you in any other way other than reading the test or repeating a movement that they think you didn't hear, they're allowed to do that. But if they say anything else to you before the conclusion of your test and you need to get into the tact check, that's unauthorized assistance. And even online, we
Mhm.
eliminate those people. And I have had people eliminated even in online shows where the people forgot what they were doing and said something to them or clacked to the
Oh,
horse or so
yeah,
just be careful. Just be
got it.
careful with that. And think about, are they annoying you? And if they are, then work with them. Tell them, I need it to be loud, but I'd really like it to sound pleasant. Remember the judge is listening. Can we make this sound pleasant?
Mhm.
It's important. It really is. You have no idea how annoying readers are to judges that are bellowing. We don't
Mhm.
mind people that are just, hey, enter working jog,
Yeah,
exhale, salute. If they sound cheerful and they're not over loud, but they're appropriate, we don't mind at all. So it can be really nice.
perfect. Well, thank you for answering all of those questions.
These were great questions. We're glad people wrote in. Thanks a lot. We'll have another live Q&A soon, but in the meantime, you've had some quick answers.